what is the best advice you can give somebody who's just starting out in macro tracking and flexible dieting? The best advice I can give you is to not try to be perfect on the front end. You're gonna mess it up, you're gonna screw it up, but just hang with it. Anytime you try to make change, it's gonna feel clunky, imperfect, and frustrating. In fact, the first time I started macro tracking back in actually the year 2000, it was really hard. And we didn't have apps at the time. There was no apps. There was no smartphones. So I just had a complete book of food counts, a book about that thick, and I would go around the grocery store looking at different foods and seeing what the macros were. It was very, very time consuming. And I would say especially the first 2 to 4 weeks were very time consuming for me. But over time, even before apps were out, it got easier and easier and easier and easier. To the point now where with Carbon, because of the barcode scanner, because of the search function, because everything's so easy, because you can copy paste meals, I probably spend less than 5 minutes a day actually tracking. It's so easy. But if you're just starting out with an app, you've got to learn the app. Ours is pretty easy to use, has a great user interface. You should be able to pick it up pretty quick. But you've got to just get used to, oh, I'm going to eat this, I'm going to put it in my app, I'm going to log it. That can take time. And I know that you can often feel like you're playing Tetris with the different macros. Okay, in order to get my protein, now my carbs are going to be high. In order to get my carbs, my fats are going to be low. It can feel really daunting at first. So here's a couple quick tips that I think can help you. One, when you start out, don't even necessarily start out with a goal. Just start tracking. Just start tracking the foods that you're already consuming. It'll be a great accounting. It'll help you come up with a budget. You'll see where you're spending your calories on things. And a lot of times when you have people start monitoring what they're doing, they actually change their behavior by default. Because nobody wants to log, 2 slices of cheesecake in their app. So it can be a great way to start facilitating behavior change without even thinking about it, while also not putting a ton of pressure on yourself because you don't necessarily have a goal just yet. So if you miss your macros, there's really no missing because you're just tracking what you're currently eating. And then once you have that down, once you can track what you're currently eating, then work on making a goal. So if you've signed up to Carbon, you might just start off in maintenance. Just try to maintain and track what you're eating right now. And then once you've got it down, maybe switch over to a fat loss phase. Because when there's less pressure on you and you give yourself a little bit more grace, it can get you into the rhythm of tracking a little bit better. My big things are focus on getting better and not on perfection. And the other thing you can do when you first start out is just try to hit calories and protein as well. Because carbs and fats, in a way, are kind of just energy exchanges, just different forms of energy. Protein and calories are what makes the biggest impact for body composition. So we know that if you hold calories and protein steady in various research studies, that the benefits look really similar between these different diets. So now if you're just trying to get 2 numbers, calories and protein, it can seem a lot less daunting. And then once you have that down, then switch over to trying to hit your carbohydrate and fat targets a little bit better, because having a consistent carbohydrate and fat intake day to day might help you feel better with energy levels and be more consistent overall, which is always a benefit. But when you're first starting out, focus on progress, not perfection. Maybe just track and see where you're at first to come up with your budget, and start out just focusing on calories and protein. And then once you've got that down pat, switch over to protein, carbohydrates, and fats.